Hello everybody, Jay from Pending Studios, and I am finally able to make videos again. Unfortunately, I don't have my camera working, as Streamlabs and OBS have decided that they don't like to play together. So I'm just going to be recording this just with my desktop right here, and we are going to be running through the list that I took to the New South Wales Masters. Now, this is a tournament which is invitation only to the top 16 players in the state. I was lucky enough to be one of them, and this was a tournament where you never go there expecting to have an easy matchup. You will never be seal clubbing. You will never come up against somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing or makes a lot of, unforced errors and that sort of stuff. It is really, really the highest end tournament that you could hope to go to for every single round. So just wanted to run through the list and show you guys, but I've got some very, very exciting news, as well as our currently on screen current sponsor, Irresistible Force. We also have a second sponsor which has come on board, and this is very exciting because we will be having two $50 giveaways every single month, one from Irresistible Force and one from Aussie Wargaming. No minimum spend or anything else, just $50 for you to use in their store. Obviously, will really, really help out, given that there's a number of very exciting battle forces that are coming out for Christmas. And yeah, so just Irresistible Force obviously have been with the channel almost since its inception now. Local gaming store in Queensland. They ship worldwide, and they have been incredible. So go and check them out. We'll be doing a giveaway as a part of this video, and we'll get into that just a little bit further on. But as you can see, beautiful laid out website. They do books and literature and different accessories and that sort of stuff. They also have a very handy sort of where to start section down their website. So really, really great. Check them out, irresistibleforce.com.au. I'll leave a link in the description. And also our second sponsor, Aussie Wargaming, which do a whopping 25% off everything Games Workshop, are also coming on board as a sponsor. Their giveaway, because I'm catching up on the November giveaway, theirs will be the December one, so it'll be the next few videos that come out. But again, just beautiful website, a whole heap for you to scroll through and have a look at, and obviously a fantastic discount. So thank you so much, Aussie Wargaming. Thank you so much, Irresistible Force. You guys are amazing. Go and check them out. Show them some love. It really, really does help the channel. And yeah. Let's get into the list. I have here the list that I took to Masters. Now, Tau Sept, I'm going to, for this video, assume that people know a lot of the basics of Tau, and I'm going to sort of speed through and make it so that I'm giving you the information which is relevant. And actually, I'm going to close out of this just for a sec. I'll, for some reason, prefer this view. I hope you guys do too. Actually, let me know if you prefer this one or the overview. Just for explaining anyway. So we've gone for a battalion. We've gone 2 crit hounds. Now, anybody that's watched my previous What I Play, this won't be too large of a deviation, with a few key things that I've changed over. 2 units of crit hounds, never leave home without them. The commander in Cold Star, he's precision of the hunter, so he rerolls everything. I am in a very heavy demons and GSC meta. There were no less than 3 or 4 players that played demons at Masters alone. There was a GSC player. So not having anybody come in within 12 inches of you is absolutely incredible. I've then just got him outfitted with a high output burst cannon, a plasma rifle, a burst cannon, and a thermoneutronic projector, which just awesome if you take Kao Yun, because it doesn't auto hit. You can explode your hits because you're hitting on 2s or 3s if you advance. Re-rolling everything, you get a lot of explodes off the thermoneutronic. The next one that I tried, and this one's a little bit of a flex slot. I don't always run an ethereal, but I do stand by them. For 2 CP and 80 points, you get a 5-up Feel No Pain on one of your crisis units, and I'm running 3 in this list. You also get CP regen, which we can be very CP hungry when we want to. I've also tagged on Exemplar of the Montcar. Now, I tend to take Kao Yun most games, but there's an interaction where I've seen a little bit of discussion about, but Tau Sept increases all of your ranges by 3 inches, and it actually has the final line. Invocation that's not an aura or an ability in your command phase specifies a range, add 3 inches to the range of it. Now, every TO that I've spoken to has greenlit this as, okay, it's my understanding, lacking a GW or a RADA or whatever else, that this will work for Tau Sept increasing your ranges. and we're happy to play it that way. Obviously, if you're going to a tournament, and I always check in beforehand, but if you're going to a tournament, make sure that they understand that the way that you do. You don't want to get to a tournament and have a TO rule against you on something that could have been sorted out beforehand, because it's just text at the end of the day. That is a massive feels bad moment. But even if this isn't at 12 inches, when we're in Kaoyun, you're exploding at 12 inches, and by that stage of the game, usually I'm having to explode out onto the board, and I'm having to contest things with units that can reasonably use this. So, reroll wounds in a list which has Shadow Sun, which is giving reroll hits, on, let's say, my big unit of Crisis, which is double plasma missile pod, the completion rate of that is just disgusting. We picked up a Greater Demon in a turn with just that unit. We picked up a Caladius Custodes tank in just one turn with that unit. It is just so fantastic for taking, because if you look at mathematically speaking, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s is a 50% success rate. As soon as you put in full rerolls, it goes up to a 75% success rate. And obviously that's, you know, it's RNG with mathematics. It's not perfect. You will low roll, you will high roll. It happens to everybody. But just having that consistency is incredible. Obviously, it does step in the toes of the Tau Sept ability, but re-rolling one dice as opposed to re-rolling all it's really first world problems not being able to use all that. I've then got Long Strike in there, gives out counters Marker Light when you fire to a Hammerhead platform, which is himself, or a Crisis unit, because they're a core Sept unit, is really, really great, just hitting on 3s. If you're firing and fading a 30-inch unit over the wall, it's just really great to go, okay, I don't care about your marker lights. They're going to be the first thing that fires. So you allocate your marker lights elsewhere. They fire at a target, you know, not consuming what would be a marker light that you would have to put on there otherwise. They just have it themselves. Then you've got extra marker lights elsewhere along the board. 3 units of Creek Carnivores. Again, don't leave home without them. These guys are amazing. For 60 points, pre-game move and everything else, they are just incredible. They're my scorers. They're my objective holders. They're my screeners. They're everything. Then we get into the meat of the list, where it's a 5-man Crisis, double shield marker with a double plasma missile pod. Lead guy has a shield generator, so make sure if somebody's standing in cover, you split up your dice, or just roll the leader first and then roll the other guys after. And then I've got 2 3-mans built basically the exact same way, Burst Cannon Cyclic Plasma. Target locks on everybody except for the leaders, which have a shield gen. And on the second one, I have Stim Injectors, which for my units, because everything is in the ochre paint job, they're painted in a white viola color scheme. Now, I totally did that on purpose, and not because I am poor and have had to play Ghetto Hammer and buy secondhand models. Nope, not at all. I did that on purpose. It was a directed choice. 2 Sun Sharks, because Sun Sharks are amazing. The number of games that I've won off their back alone in the first turn is just incredible. Backline access, mortal wound output, marker lights, incredible shooting for a 165 point platform. Yes, they fly over and they die turn 1 if you don't fly them off, but that's kind of their job. And you also, if you position it well, get to put them in range that if you roll a 6 when they die, they explode, bunch of mortal wounds. It happens. It's not something reliable. We're not AdMech where you can just shove something into people's face and auto-explode it. But they are really, really incredible. And then in a Supreme Command Detachment thing, reason I've got it this way is obviously we are bound by the number of commanders that exist in a detachment. So we put her into Supreme Command so we can have her in the list as well, while still taking a battalion and keeping our precious CP. And then we've got her with her high energy fusion blasters, because they're just so much better. 24-inch range. Really, really great shooting for her. Not something you rely on to pick up things, but especially when you've got Kaoyun turned on, she can put in some massive work, even just as finishing off things that you really want to die. And then we've got Exemplar of the Kaoyun. Redeploys are just incredible. Do not leave home without it. If you can put it on anybody, do it. So, that is the list that we played. 1998 points. I really couldn't maximize that anymore. At the tournament, we went 2-2. Now, I feel good about that result, because at a place where you have actually most of the highest ranked players in Australia, we were missing a couple of players from the Championship WTC team, but there was one of the players, one of the coaches, and somebody else from the team that was actually at that tournament. Actually, one of the dudes, the dude that won it was one of my losses, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the list performed incredibly well. And my second loss was in the last round against Custodies player, Nathan. Absolutely amazing. Like, just the loveliest guy that you can possibly come across. And I was low-key wanting him to win because at that point, because of how badly I got beaten in my first loss, I couldn't podium, but he still could. And that was kind of a weird moment where, like, I didn't give it to him and he played perfectly. Like, you can just see why he's so good on Custodies. He played it masterfully. But at the same time, there was a little part of me that, like, we just spent the whole game laughing and celebrating all of my failures because my Kaoyun really failed. Like, I had so many critical turns of damage where I would, I just kind of got diced. But we were laughing and carrying on the entire time because I kind of knew that I was going into this not able to win anything, and I just got to celebrate for my opponent that, had a chance to get his stuff. And in return, we had an incredibly amicable game, even at the end of it, where I couldn't reasonably go out and score some of my things. He's like, hey man, like, I don't give a shit. Get some BP. Like, I'll let you go out and do your aerospace targeting relays. Like, just one of the games against a person where you just walk away feeling so good about yourself, even though it was a loss. That first loss, let's get into that. Oh, well, so my wins, I'll go through those. The first one was Custodies. Yes, I had to play 2 Custodies players. I took Montcar against him because I figured I needed to score my points early. I'd never played against him before, and I didn't know if he was a slow player. So I figured, you know what, let's spring out on the board. Let's score 50 points on secondaries in the first, 3 turns or whatever. And we'll kind of go from there, and we'll just kind of get in his face and see how it goes. Obviously, I got first turn, so that led to the Montcar decision a little bit more, and that actually worked out in my favor quite well. I think it was 86-60 at the end of it. He played really well. He denied a couple of turns of primary, which Custodies players are very, very good at doing because they are just so freaking tanky. I mean, the Dreadnoughts alone, -1 damage, hurts so much, especially when, for a lot of your weapon systems, you're wounding on 4s, 3s at best, and 5s on your burst cannons and whatever else. And if you expose too soon, you get too close to them and you don't kill them, they just charge you because they don't bracket, and they will put down some massive hurt. But so that one obviously went really, really well. Actually, you know what? Just to be an absolute shill, I'm just going to scroll through Irresistible Force while I'm talking. That's... Yeah, and nobody can buy my opinions or anything else, but like having a local gaming store come on and give me the amount of support that they have, I will shill to death for these guys. So anyway, so I then go on to play AdMech, which I'd never played before, and I was playing the rank 1 AdMech player for Australia, and I think he's rank 2 or 3 in the world. He's the moderator for the AdMech Discord. He set up one of the largest events in Australia, CruitCon, which was a resounding success. And this guy also holds the rank 1 for Marines in Australia because, oh man, look at how much stuff is sold out. Come on, G-Dub, resupply. This is everywhere, by the way. This isn't just this website. I could go onto any single supplier and see the same thing over and over again. I know because I have really had to ghetto hammer, and anytime I had the money to do stuff firsthand, just couldn't buy anything. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So he got first turn, and I kind of knew this was going to happen. I said to him, you get first, you win. Because he was running a bunch of Sulphur Hounds and these horse boys and whatever, and they move 21 inches and charge. And then do a bunch of mortals on, it's 6 to hit or 6 to wound or whatever. They've got mini transhuman. They've got all these different things. He touched my back castle because we were playing Data Scry, where you've got corner deployments. You got the big section in the middle of 4 objectives. And we were talking about it afterwards because Alex is a really good friend of mine as well. And he actually said before the game, do you want a learning game? Because I know you haven't played against me before. And this is something that he's admitted to that he does quite often, where he will give his opponents too much information. He's too nice. outstanding player, but he does that too much, or at least he says so. Or he said, do you want a competitive game? And I said, competitive. Just do the hardest that you can. If I lose, I'll learn a ton. Let's do this. Let's bang. And he did. Like, turn 1, he got onto my castle. He got 2 charges off on some of his units. And then because it was on the other side of a 3-story wall, he can fight through. But in my turn, I can't shoot through. Which to me is the dumbest friggin' rule that could possibly be there. And for anybody who hasn't played on WTC or whatever else, 3-story buildings completely blacked out. You can stand on the 2nd and 3rd floor, be inside the area terrain, and you're not exposed from outside of it. You get light cover, but you can't be seen, but you also can't see out. So you have to jump onto the other side of the wall in order to be able to shoot and whatever. But if they touch you an inch through the wall, you can fight. Apparently, I can't stick a gun through to somebody's chest when they can put a sword to mine and just blow them to smithereens. But whatever. As soon as he touched that, I was like, dude, this is game over. And the biggest mistake that I realized afterwards is that I didn't put my Kroot. I was too conservative and pulled them back because I didn't want them to die because I was worried about scoring the primary later into the game. I shouldn't have worried about that. They should have been standing at ranges where he would just have to eat Kroot for at least a turn, maybe 2. And then it means that, he's not tying me up in melee where I can't attack him. So anyway, that one I scored 2 points. I have never been beaten this badly in my entire life. And Alex was an absolute gentleman about it. He actually started to feel very guilty through the game. And you can tell when somebody's spiraling a little bit and they're over-explaining. And I'm like, dude, you need to chill. No, like, nobody's going to walk away from this game thinking you did the wrong thing. You played hard. I asked you to play hard. It's incredible to see what your army can do. I really love your list. Great job. And, and that put him on ease just a little bit more. So that was really, really good to play. But my God, do I never want to have that happen to me again. And then we played Demons. Against this Demons player, and George was amazing as well. I actually had 4 games against 4 great opponents, which I normally never get. Speaking of CrewCon, there's a little bit of drama there. There's another event that I was at where somebody followed me to my car and threatened me and all that sort of stuff. And you really think somebody wouldn't do that to an Afghan veteran? But, hey, this is the world. This is our species we're talking about. But 4 games, 4 amazing opponents. George was no exception. I punked out 2 greater demons. One was, what's the leader's name? My brain keeps... Be'lakor. My brain was thinking Belarus, but it's absolutely not that. That's a country. And then also a Keeper of Secrets. Because hit on 4s, because he was -1. Wounding on 4s, because he was -1. And then him saving on a 4. I succeeded twice. He failed on his. And then again with a CP reroll on both of them. And so, dropped them to like near no health. And then the bombers just did so much work. The crisis suits did so much work. But to George's credit, he was saying at the end of turn 1, like, this game's over. I don't know how I'm going to win. And I continued to respect the demons by playing very tactically and not giving him anything. And not giving him anything in terms of being a dick, but not leaving openings for him to come back on. And even then, he, like most players you'll see, will just mentally check out when you alpha strike them too badly. Not George. He was amazing. He had a great attitude the entire game, and he also played so competitively that it kind of came down to the wire a little bit. Like, the scoreline was still in my favor by a decent amount, but from the turn 1 that he had to the end of game 5, I don't think either of us predicted him doing that well, but he just had these little moments of inspiration where he'd, see an angle, take the angle, and really, really play hard, which was just amazing. Like, honestly, going to this tournament, I didn't expect anything. I've only been playing for a year. And that's, when I say that, I mean, like, literally didn't know any of the rules this time last year. Up to now being the rank 2 Tau player, top 16 in New South Wales. I think I'm top 20 in Australia. For my faction, I'm top 50 in the world. I haven't even checked what that would be, but there's so many people. I'm not even going to worry about that. But I didn't expect anything going into this tournament because there was so much talent there. There was so much experience. There was so many people that were really just the top of their respective factions. And to go 2-2 and really you know, like Nathan earned his victory, but I was rooting for him anyway. So that last game, I had nothing hinging on it. I had nothing that I was attaching any expectation to. And so really, I don't even count that one, because rather than, you know, play super, super hard and take risks and all that sort of stuff, I definitely played a game where I was more, okay, I'm going to have some fun. It's been a long time since I've played Nathan. I can learn some stuff here. I can play hard, but, you know, I can really just enjoy myself and laugh and all that sort of stuff. And that was really, really great to do. So 2-2, really, I feel really good about. And I hope that when you guys go to tournaments, that you guys aren't too hard on yourselves. At the end of the day, we are playing with toy soldiers and, you know, whatever else. And I feel like I see posts on Reddit or whatever about people that burn out because they go too hard into it, and then when they don't get the results that they want, especially on factions that are, you know, like Tau's sitting at a 50% win rate right now. And I just did a Scooby-Doo there. You know, I just being able to go 50-50 against some of the best players in Australia, that feels good. That feels like I'm about where I should be. And when I'm not versing the best players in Australia, my win rate is like 79 to 85%, which I am really, really happy about. So yeah, like, I hope you guys aren't too hard on yourselves. I hope you guys focus more on improving and everything else. And, you know, I'm going to be going over to Australia's answer to LVO, which is Uprising in Adelaide. It's got like 250 people or something going to it. They're going to be, you know, going more for next year. So I'm really excited to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of that, maybe a little bit of footage from the tournament. It's going to be really interesting because a dickbag ex-friend that I had who sent me death threats and then ghosted me, he's going to be there. So, you know, I get to stand there smirking like an idiot from across the room because he's got no keyboard to hide behind. But yeah, I think that'll be really, really fun to give you guys an update on and really try and go hard at that one, because having a big tournament like that, that's, yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys know when I change my list, because I likely will make some adjustments. The meta's maybe going to be changing depending on whether the guard gets let into there, how many Leagues of Votann players there are. If I'm playing Leagues of Votann, which because of one of the guys in the New South Wales tournament circuit, Chris O'Neill, he's lent me his Votann, and I've picked up a couple of other bits and pieces here. Very excited because it'll be the first-hand army, brand new, that I've ever owned in my entire life, which is just, yeah. So anyway, enough rambling from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. Go and check out Irresistible Force. Go and check out Aussie Wargaming. For the giveaway, you need to be subbed to the channel, like this video, and drop me a comment down below with your favorite unit from the Tau Codex, or if you play a different faction, your favorite unit for playing into Tau. Something that, you know, picks it up or puts in work or really goes and tags them so they can't shoot or whatever else. So if you're a Tau person, sound off with your favorite unit. Just for my part, mine is the Storm Surge. I really wish it was more playable and a little bit more competitive, but just an awesome model. It's one of the biggest things. I prefer big things over everything else. So like the video, sub to the channel, and even just do that stuff on any of the videos that you do watch, because you guys have no idea how much it actually means to me. In terms of helping the algorithm, pushing me forward to do things, especially when, you know, OBS is being a dickwad and I have to get up the motivation to keep doing this stuff and deal with its shit. But yeah, I'll leave some links to Irresistible Force and Aussie Wargaming in the description. And I'll see you guys for the next video, where we're going to be highlighting why you take Shadow Sun and Crit Hounds and all that sort of stuff. Doing little mini videos, not quite as long-winded as this one. See you later, Chassos.